To be honest, in this economy, you cannot be cute, expensive, and fragile. Now, as a little treat for myself, I decided to get myself the Boox Go Color 7 because I want to read my ebooks more, and I do not just read off of Kindle app, and I didn't really want a Kindle, so I wanted a device that was e-ink, doesn't hurt my eyes, and lets me use other apps. Now, as a little disclaimer, I did get a refurbished version, which was $180, but then of course jumped up to $200 with shipping, handling, and things like that. So maybe I won't do that again with Boox as a company, but I digress. So I got the device. It was really cool. I was really excited. I did my research a little bit, and I did know that this was fragile. I think most e-ink e-readers are fragile, and you shouldn't be doing anything ridiculous with them. I would not take this outside. I wouldn't have water bottles near it. I know some people apparently did have water bottles near it and dropped their water bottles on it and were surprised to find that it broke. But to me, that made sense. That is external force damage. It totally makes sense that that would happen. But what happened to me, I would not describe as being normal, and I would describe it as being a defected device with how fragile this is. Now, when I initially had this device, I only had it for 5 days since taking it out of the box, and I did notice that, the colors were dim, but I thought that was very normal in comparison, because yes, it has colors, but it's never going to be like your iPad. It will never be like an iPad, and that's the point. You don't want it to hurt your eyes, this, that, and a third. And I was really enjoying it. I loved all the features. I loved all the apps that I could use, and I was reading. It was 5 days. I really loved it. But on the 5th day, I woke up and it was in a very safe space. It was in a sleeve. No one was touching it. Nothing. It was in my room. It has not left this room yet. And it had screen damage for no apparent reason. Dead cell screen damage from nothing, which normally would be caused by external force. So dropping it, something dropped on it, it fell, you banged it, you pressed too hard, something. But I didn't do anything to it. I didn't touch it that day. Nothing happened. Nothing that I can personally name that I have personally caused. Now, the damage wasn't too bad, but it was still bad. So I contacted Boox, and they basically just sent me a basic, very vague email saying that it was caused by external force damage, and they just so happen to not cover screen damage in their warranty, which does make me wonder what the warranty is for. And considering the fact that once a device leaves their warehouse, they don't even do refunds for anything that may possibly happen to the device. So to me, that tells me a lot about the company and a lot about how they know that they made a very fragile device that is bound to break and isn't capable of lasting too long, it seems, while also disregarding what people have to say about it. Boox even has a whole essay explaining why their device is so fragile and how it could possibly break. So they're like, oh, it could even break in the sleeve. It could even break, show damage 5 days later. And to me, that is a defect, and it should not cost, the regular price of this should not cost more than $200. If anything, this is a $100, $50 device, considering how fragile it is. Truly, it's not just fragile, it is so fragile. And it was only 5 days of me having the device, so of course I am highly upset. I didn't do anything to it, and so they don't even want to talk about anything. There's no process of going about this other than the fact that you have to pay to get it fixed and pay to get it shipped there and shipped back. So in total, I had to pay roughly $170 to get this fixed and shipped. It was a $145 fix to get the screen fixed of something that was not my fault, just of the very fact that this device broke on its own spontaneously, which should not happen. That is not normal. And what's worse is that Boox seems to ignore negative reviews about the Boox Go Color 7 to the point that there's Reddit forums about it and about how fragile this device is, regardless of whether you get the white or the black one. and how they literally do not last and have not been able to last more than 10 months, it seems. And how they'll just wake up one day and they'll be damaged, which again is not normal. And Boox has said that this is not normal and that this isn't something that should happen. But I feel like that helps them avoid accountability by saying that, oh, it's your fault that it broke. When clearly this device is just breaking, especially within the last couple of months. There have been more reports about how bad this device is in terms of its durability and its overall build, the concerns about there being magnets inside of it, which to me probably does irritate the screen more. Now let me give you an honest timeline of this. I ordered this on March the 8th and it finally came in on March 19th, and it broke 5 days later out of nowhere. And so then I shipped it out to get it fixed, and they fixed it within a week. So I just got this back roughly 3-4 days ago. Yeah. And what I noticed is that, I don't know if you can see this, but the colors are quite saturated, more saturated than it was when I had originally got the device. So if anything, the refurbished device was already heavily damaged already, and they didn't do clear checks, clear tests before sending it. And it really makes me wonder, why is it that we're calling it a certified refurbished device when it seems like you just sent me garbage? And I think what's worse is that when you look at like Boox and how they try to defend themselves, they're always like, oh, people are just trying to get over on us. Get over on you for what? If you're if your consumers are complaining about the fact that this device is extremely fragile, it's an actual problem. It's not that they're trying to get over on you, it's that this device has a problem, and clearly the problem is that the screen is too weak. And you're claiming that this is a durable, flexible device in your ads. Keep in mind, I did not take this outside, I didn't spill water on it, I didn't do none of the ridiculous things, because some people have done weird stuff. Like, I don't know why you guys have water bottles near your e-readers. I think that's a you problem. But I can't even imagine it. Like, I can't even imagine it now, because this device broke for reasons unknown to me. Unless we're going to admit that the device was already damaged, which I believe it probably was, and I just couldn't see it. And the fact that this is a device that can show damage days later after the initial impact is even worse, because Boox continues to, write off multiple reasons as to why this device can break, and I just feel like that they're just avoiding accountability in terms of the fact that they made a really bad, fragile device, which is sad because this device has its perks, and I really love it. I love the fact that you can use multiple apps. I like that you can customize it, make it look really cute. I love it, but that love does not disregard the fact that this is too expensive for a device that could break with the touch of air, it seems. And as a company, if they knew that this device was so fragile, I feel like it is their job and their responsibility to make things for this device, like accessories. They should have made more cases. They should have made, more protection measures for this device. Like, the only case that they have that they made themselves is like a $40 magnetic case that doesn't even have a plastic hold in it, which is not protective enough. And I do still question the very usage of magnets on this device and whether or not you should have a magnetic cover case, because I literally do not know how this device broke. I genuinely cannot name why it broke to you. I can't give you a reason. I didn't do anything. I promise you that I did not do anything bad to this device. I am a very gentle person. I am very gentle with all of my devices, and this is just ridiculous to me. I'm personally waiting for a case that is not magnetic and does have a cover to cover the front. I currently have this plastic one on it, and I did cut it. I cut it a lot because a lot of people said that you need to cut it for it to fit, and the case is not, this plastic case really isn't my problem, because I customized it a lot, and I bent it. I made sure that it didn't really harm the device when I put it on. It was a very gentle process. I swear to you, it was a very gentle process for me. I will say that, if you want to treat yourself and you want an e-reader that is open and lets you use multiple apps, I would recommend you wait. I don't know how to say it without saying it that way, but I think you should wait, and I don't think that you should get the Boox Go Color 7, because I feel like once you get the Boox Go Color 7 and it damages or anything happens to it, you can't do nothing. You're stuck with it unless you have money to get it fixed and you're willing to save up for the possibility of having to constantly get this device repaired if something happens to it, because there's no return process. You can't really, I don't know, you can't recycle it. Like, I don't know what you would be doing with it other than having a broken device in your house. And the fact that like the only cases for this device that seem to protect it are like $30 or more is a little bit ridiculous, considering at that point I might as well go to Etsy and get, you know, an original handmade nice cover for this device for like $30. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It seems like we came out with a really fragile device, knowing how fragile it was, and did not come out with any precautions for it. 100% though, they do need to improve the screen. Like, I don't necessarily care about the ghosting and stuff that people have complained about when it comes to this device. I adjusted things, I'm used to it now. But it broke for no reason. And that is a problem, that is a defect. That's not the consumer's fault. That is the company's, the way that they decided to build this device. It's not a good idea. And it's a shame. Like I said, it's a shame because I enjoy this device, but I highly recommend you wait. I don't know, wait for another company to come up with a new model. Wait for them to come up with this rumored second gen that they're supposedly coming out with, which from what I've read, it doesn't look like that they've made much screen improvements, but whatever. But besides its extreme fragility, I love a lot of things about this device. I really do love the Neo reader for some reason. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I like it. So like I said earlier, you can have a whole bunch of apps on here, which is really great, especially if, you know, you're like me and originally you were using your iPad to read, but then it became too much because, you know, the apps take up storage space and, you know, you get distracted on your iPad. So it's really good. However, I will say that there is a noise filter, kind of. You won't be able to see it on here, but I don't mind it. Some people do. So if that's something that bothers you, then obviously this device will not be your thing. If ghosting bothers you and having to like go into settings and like manually do things yourself, you probably won't like this device either. I highly recommend watching videos on TikTok of other people who have this device and what they do for their settings, because it seems like customer service is failing on that part, but TikTok users apparently know more about this device than they do. And I'm very 50-50 with this device. Like, honestly, if you don't have this device yet, don't get it. Unless you really want to. Like, unless it's a treat for yourself, unless you're ready, prepared for possible damage, do not get it. But if you already have it, then you're stuck. Or if you're like me and you pay to get it fixed, you're rolling with it. You gotta stick with it. And I do like it. Like, I do like how cute it is. I like things about it. It's just, I'm now bitter because I did spend a lot of money on this device when I shouldn't have, and it got damaged for what? So I have the right to be upset. But I'm just letting you know, honest review and honesty, because honesty matters when we're talking about devices that cost a lot of our money in this day and age. Yeah, it needs a lot of work in terms of its durability. That's honest, dead set. However, it is a lovely device when you get used to using it, and it's really fun. But like I said, fun and loving a device does not change the fact that this costs so much money for the fact that it is just easily damaged. But this is what Webtoon looks like when you first open it. I do have my settings set to a certain way, but I personally don't. I don't like how Webtoon has moving ads, because what happens is that when this moves, you get ghosting, and it's quite frustrating. But it is a light color, and I'm okay with it, but you might not be. But this is what color looks like, and like I said, because we're on Webtoon, we're scrolling, you see ghosting. That's very normal though. You do have a refresh option where you could like hold the button, it'll refresh and all that stuff. So I'm used to it by now though, because again, you're reading on this. You're not supposed to be scrolling on it like a really fast speed reader. The point of e-readers is to read slow, and so I don't really mind. And of course we have the Kindle app, which it looks okay. You know, colors are colors. The colors aren't like overly bright, but if you want, you know, colored covers, then cool. I think it's okay. You know, it's all right. It's what it is. Setting up this device does take a long time though, and this is why I do think you need to have patience if you're going to get the Boox Go Color 7, because yeah, you need to have patience, and you kind of just need to sit with the fact that the company does not care if this device breaks. It seems it's your fault. Whatever it is, it's gonna be your fault, which is unfortunate. But it kind of makes me not want to buy from them again in the future because of my experience. Like, yes, they fixed it quickly, but it to me, it just shows that they don't have confidence in the device, because, you know, once it gets out the warehouse, there's nothing you can do about it. They won't do nothing. The only thing that you could do is pay for it to get fixed, because like I said, I really don't know what is covered under that warranty if they do not cover screens, because what other problem is going to happen with this device other than a screen damage issue, or some issue in which that they could find an excuse or a get around to say that you caused the damage. Now, obviously, I'm stuck with this device, right? And I'm committed. I decorated it and everything. I do love it, and so I'm just gonna have to sit with it. But if it breaks, I really don't think I'm gonna pay to get it fixed again, because it's just too much. You're practically paying for another refurbished device to get it fixed again, and it seems like, every time it gets fixed, because like I said, the colors are more saturated on this device than what it was previously, so it makes me think that the devices vary from each other for some reason in terms of their screens, and that's weird. But I'm just trying to, use it, be very careful with it, but a part of me is really scared every time I touch this device now, because now I have like this pending anxiety of when is it gonna break again, So, I don't know. I even, because I had their magnetic case, because it came with the magnetic case for free, and I basically, customized that. I separated it from its bottom, because when you have the plastic bottom case on it, the magnetic cover doesn't fit, and so that's what I did to it. And it's funny because this is a $40 case, this whole, the whole entire case, and I was easily able to take it apart. It's definitely not real leather in any way, but it's $40 for some reason. Basically, if anxiety was a device, it would be this, because every day I am concerned. Every time I go to pick it up, I am scared. Every time I take it out of the sleeve, I am scared, and I'm thinking that, oh my god, there's going to be screen damage on it or something from nothing. So I don't know how to handle this device physically now, because I'm concerned about it breaking again. And so if that is your concern, then yeah, I wouldn't get this device. But I'm stuck with it, and so I'm gonna roll with it until it breaks again. I'll obviously let you know when it breaks, because I already did a real-time reaction of it on TikTok. But yeah, thoughts and prayers if you have this device though, because I genuinely hope that it does not break on you, because some people, you're gonna have that survival bias, that survivor's bias. You're gonna be like, oh well, mine didn't break yet. Oh well, good for you. Mine's broke within 5 days, and that is ridiculous. That should not be a thing that we promote. That is not something that we should see as normal. And yeah, just no. And what's crazy is that Boox actually has ads for this device of people like spilling water on it and it's still surviving. Like, nope, that was fake. That was a decoy. That was an absolute decoy. Y'all are liars for that. But this is what I have set for my sleep screen on it. I do love that capability, and I love these cats. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, the bookish girlies got me addicted to these cats, especially the strawberry cat. But I'm probably gonna go read now, and those are my honest current thoughts on this device. I'm not being bought out by nobody. I'm just sharing my personal experience. That is all. Thoughts and prayers.